As a family business of 75 years, we certainly didn't get here alone. We grew with the industry and the vessels themselves. This hasn't been without challenge. 14 administrations, the luxury tax, 9/11, and the credit collapse. We stuck together, and with true partners like trade associations and the world's largest boat show in our backyard, the marine industry is a huge success story. And this is our chance to tell it the Ward's way. Welcome everybody to season 5 at the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show, and I'm here with my friend Jim Turner, founder of Release Boatworks. Welcome.
Well, thank you for having me, Kristina. It's always fun to come to the Fort Lauderdale
Even
Boat
in
Show.
the rain?
Has there ever been another way? I feel.
I know. It's not a boat show without the rain.
No, at least it's not cold.
So let's talk about Release Boatworks. So you guys build sport fish.
Build sport fishing boats from 30 to 66 feet, but primarily in the 46 and 55 foot range.
And this is by no stretch not your first Fort Lauderdale Boat Show, and your company originally started down here. So
I started in Guatemala.
Oh, really? Okay.
I started a fishing lodge in Guatemala called Casa Vieja Lodge.
Okay.
And
can I ask,
sure.
what made you start that?
Because it was the best fishing in the world that
Okay.
I've ever been to.
That's awesome.
And there was a old lodge there that had closed down, and I was like, well, how can I go fishing here? So I had a friend that was a captain there. I said, show me how I can put a boat down here and not lose money. And he was like, you mean you're not asking me how to make money? I'm like, no, I just want to be able to fish for free. That was the goal. And
Did you get to fish for free?
I didn't have to pay money.
Okay.
Free is a loosely defined
Sure.
term, I think.
Yep.
But it was a great experience for me, for my family, everybody. And somehow that evolved into from owning a charter boat to owning 8 boats.
Oh, wow.
And a 24-bedroom lodge, and staff. I think we had 80 people on staff, and had restored all these old classic boats, Merritts, Ribovich's, Whitaker's, Game Fisherman, things like that. And my friend said, aren't you tired of fixing these old wooden boats? You ought to build your own. I said, sounded like a good idea. And
the rest is history.
The rest is history, yes.
And so you moved, did you start building in Guatemala?
Started building it in Guatemala. And at the time, we only, I had a booth at the Miami Boat Show.
Okay.
So I decided, well, let's just put a sign up saying we're building boats, too. And I never intended to sell a boat. It just intended to replace all the boats that I had in the fleet so there would be less maintenance. And at that boat show, from a drawing, I sold the first boat.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
Wow. And what, can I ask when that was?
That was in 2009.
Okay. Which wasn't a really
not a tremendous amount of time ago, no. But I had.
But people were buying them.
People bought them, yeah. And the guy who bought the first one wanted a walkaround.
Okay.
Which I never had an intention of building a walkaround. I didn't like the concept, but I had some very clear rules, I guess. If I'm going to build a walkaround, it's going to be like this. I'm going to have seating for everybody.
You have a standard.
Yeah, and I just wanted seating because I fished on a lot of walkarounds, and at the end of the day, you're all running back from a tournament or whatever, and there's no place for anybody to sit. So we're going to have seating for lots of people, and that's what we did, and we kind of became known for our walkarounds.
Do you think that that's the secret to your success, is that you designed a boat knowing the fishing life and understanding what the consumer wants?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my goal, you see, the list of boats that I owned, I always thought I want to build a Florida custom boat. And to me, that was Merritt and Ribovich, and the things that defined a Florida boat was just a look, a style, and I always thought, why isn't anybody doing that today? In that size range of that. At the time, that our first boat was a 46-footer. And I think there's other builders now that have come out and done the same thing. I'm not. It wasn't my idea. It's Noah built the first boat, I guess, right?
That's right. But still, you've put in, obviously, your own. Did your family contribute to what gave you all the idea? I mean, you've been on enough boats, so you kind of knew what you wanted to design. What makes the Release special?
Well, I think it's definitely a fishing first boat. It's about, like we call it, a game boat ethos. So a game boat is not a model. It's more like a mindset.
So explain that.
It's a simple. So my first boat was my first charter boat was a 1961 37-foot Merit.
Okay.
And it was, now today Merits are multi-million-dollar boats, beautiful yachts. But back then it was a tool, and it was a utilitarian, purpose-built tool. It wasn't. You weren't afraid to scratch the paint and scratch. I think the first year we pulled 100 billfish bills out of the transom of the boat when we took her out for the summer to refinish her. And so to me, a game boat is a boat that is easy to maintain.
Okay.
Because if it's not easy to maintain, it's not going to get maintained. And we've talked about this with electrical systems, everything else too. It's so easy to make things complicated.
Overly complicated, unnecessarily. Mm-hmm.
And if it gets too complicated and it's too hard to maintain, it doesn't get maintained.
Well, my understanding is also that then it takes away from, if you're having to maintain it or you're having to keep up with it, you're taking away from what you have the boat for, which is fishing.
Exactly.
And the more time that you're spending on the boat and away from fishing is counterintuitive to what you want.
Yeah, you don't want fishing to become work.
Yeah.
Because when it does become, I guess for me it became work, and I kind of stopped fishing a lot.
Right.
Not by choice. But yeah, if it gets too hard to do, if you every day you think of going down to the dock, to the marina, I'm like, I don't want to take my boat out because then I have to do this and have to do that. Mm-hmm. And so I try to build a boat with the idea that it's going to be easy to maintain, it's going to look great, mm-hmm. It's going to fish great. My thing was it has to have a clean wake, and it has to be easy to maintain. It has to be great for a family to be able to, whether it's your family or a crew.
Right.
Whether you're going to fish a tournament or you want to go to run to the Abacos for a week.
Right.
It's got to be fun for everybody. And that,
what about
to me, is
the technology? What about some of that? Keeping up with that? I feel like, especially where we're sitting, and I'm looking over there, right as somebody flashed something. They have bright lights on, but all of the booths that are around us, all this electronics, has that been?
I think you're foolish if you're not taking advantage of all the latest technology.
Sure.
I think we always pay homage to the legendary boat builders, the Rivoviches, and everybody says, if you're going to restore your Rivovich, I've restored a couple of Rivoviches. If you're going to do that, you got to stay true to the pulley over cable over pulley steering, everything. If those guys are building boats today, and Mike obviously still is, he's not doing that way kind
anymore.
Of stuff. He's doing the latest and greatest technology in his boats, and still with old world craftsmanship. So that I think is the blend. You can't replace technology. Can't replace craftsmanship. No. Do you read his newsletters? He tells you the stem to stern. I tell him, like, if anything ever happens, you're definitely a journalist. But I think the newsletters that we get via email are different than the ones that get printed. And I think they're a little more edited. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I only get to see some of the bad
email.
words are.
Okay. Well, but you can tell they're there.
Oh, I wouldn't. He's definitely not politically correct, and it's our favorite. In our office, it's our favorite thing to read every month. Well, now you get together with builders yourself, and you have your own podcast. So talk to me about that. What do you guys? How does that work? I know it's new. We're new too. We started to do a monthly podcast, and just just three partners in our company. So we just sit in our conference room. We made it into a little studio, not quite as nice as where we're at. We're at a boat show. But next episode, you might see something different. I like this setup. Anyway, we talk about what's going on in the shop, what's going on in the fishing world, what's I have a friend, Herb Ozell, he's a fishing travel agent. We get him on the phone every month on a Zoom call, and we say, where are the fish biting this month? Where should we go? What should we be looking for? We talk about, maybe we'll highlight a boat that we just splashed, or what's going on. We have a new property that we just, after 4.5 years, just got our final DEP permitting on. So we have a 47-acre boatyard on the water that we're going to be. Oh wow! And that's in New Jersey. In New Jersey. Yeah. Wow. That's probably why it was 4.5 years through the permitting process. But yeah, we talk like a drink of the month.
Okay.
So
you guys just enjoy working together, talking
just sitting
together,
around talking
being
boats.
around. But you know what? That's what a lot of people like to do.
One of my favorite parts about going out fishing is when you come back and you're sitting at the dock at the end of the day, or sitting in the cockpit. Maybe you're having a rum or a beer or a soda, whatever, and you're just unwinding.
Yep.
So that's kind of what it is: decompressing, unwinding, and talk about. We talk about what we've done wrong.
Right.
That takes up most of the podcast. And then we try and talk about what we're going to change and do better. And then, once in a while we talk about some things we did right.
Yeah. So. But I know what you mean on the kind of the after action of a fishing day. So my family is a fishing family, and my parents had a house down in the Keys. And so when we would get back to the dock, and while my brother and I were washing it, my dad would sit up there, and then we'd all come and it'd be like, well, why didn't we catch more today? Or what did we do? Or get rid of that bait. Where'd you buy it? That's not right. We should have caught our own. Or you go through that, and you're right. That is a big part about boating. I didn't think about it as much as...
One of the best parts about fishing is telling fishing stories.
It is.
And it all starts the minute you're back at the dock.
Yes, you're 100% right, because everybody's asking, how did your day go?
Yeah.
And recently, I think I was telling you, I was in the Wanchese area in North Carolina during a fishing tournament and watching, and there was so much camaraderie when people come back. I think that's something that the marine industry, people want to win, and clearly there's Calcuttas and there are pots. So many people want to know that their fellow fishermen also had a great day and caught that, and everybody wants everybody's boating day to be wonderful.
And I feel like on the water or at the dock, it doesn't matter if you have a 40-footer or 60-footer or an 80-footer. It's kind of like equal water, equal ground. And
everybody
that's
had
one of the
just
great
as hard
things
of a
about
day.
the sport.
I agree. So what's new coming up for release? Anything you can release?
We have some 55s coming down the line.
Nice.
A couple of months they'll be hitting the water.
Is that a new model size for you?
That is a new model size for us, and we're working on developing a 66-footer as well. And that's pretty exciting. But
is that as big as you'd like to go, or do you see yourself maybe?
Yeah, I think that no matter what happens, that we can max out at about 12 boats a year, which is pretty good for building custom boats. And just our space, even with the additional property, we can't really expand. And we don't want to expand beyond that. It's hard. One boat a month. I always tell the guys, to deliver one boat a month, we have to start one boat a month. So don't just look at the finish line. We got to look at the starting line.
Sure. What's the timeline for completion? I'm really putting you down. It's only
it's
here.
Supposed to, so I'll tell you like this. I built my first boat.
Okay.
In Opalaca. I started building the first boat in Guatemala. That lasted about a year.
Okay.
And then I just threw everything in the garbage, and rented a warehouse in Opalaca. I lived in Miami at the time, and we built all our own tooling and everything. But we laid our first hull on November 15th. And on February 15th, the following, 4 months later to the day, we were sea trialing the boat with Carl Anderson from Marlin Magazine at the Miami Boat Show.
Wow.
So that's the benchmark on how fast we can build one. We haven't done that since.
But, you're still looking like within a 8 months period of time, or a year?
Yeah, we should be. And again, it's going to come down to how many options we start putting in the boat. Obviously it's, as you said earlier, it's really easy to make it complicated, and it's harder to make it simple than it is to make it complicated. So the more things we add, the more complicated it gets to make it simple, if that makes sense.
No, it's true. And are there systems that you're like, we are not doing that?
As a boat builder, no is a really hard word.
It really is, especially if you have an owner.
It's important. It really is important to say no, and I tell owners that you can have anything you want, but you can't have everything you want.
There you go. That's true. It's very true. And I know we get in a position sometimes that we can't too. I'll give one on the sizes of the center consoles that are getting so big. So obviously those are gasoline outboard engines, and there was a boat that's in the 60 range and wanted a frequency converter.
Yeah.
And where they were trying to put it, and that is a system that cannot be, those are open air. You understand the electronics in them. They cannot be. And we had to fight hard to make sure that they would not put that on that boat. I said, it's saving your grandchildren's life, and you want to have your grandkids on this boat. You know what could happen to this. This isn't playing, and you could just tell there was somebody told me I could do that, and I think you start to see when people start refitting some boats this size, what they think on a center console that's 60 feet, well, I certainly should be able to take that on along, and then it gets,
There's a lot of, not misinformation, but misguided information, I think, because
that's a kind way of putting it.
You can't just look at the tree in the forest, you have to look at the whole forest.
Right.
I always say a boat's like, ordering a Chinese takeout of fried rice, and when you open that up, it just keeps coming out. It never gets empty. That's how much stuff everybody wants to put in their boat.
Yes.
And you may think it's going to make your life easier, but in reality, it's probably going to make your life harder.
It is. And then, like you said, the maintenance. Or I always try to remind, especially on a sport fish side, you're going to very remote places.
Yeah.
What you don't want is equipment that could fail.
Yeah.
Either it's taking away from your fishing, it's taking away from the family, it's taking away from that experience you want to have. So.
Well, and it's a two-edged sword, right? Because with electrical components, especially, you want everything that's tried and true, but you also want to be cutting edge, because 5 years from now, it's not going to be cutting edge anymore.
Right.
So you have to try to future-proof your boat as much as you can.
Right.
And that's a compromise in itself.
Right.
Yeah.
But I do know that from power situations, so do you find that most of are your customers going with single generator, 2 generators? Are they
single generators?
We're just jumping into electric now at this point. Sorry, that's good.
So our 46s are all single generators, and we're fine with that. We're doing about I think a 12.5 kW generator is pretty standard. Our 46-foot boats are 50 amp shore power. Our 55. We're still just doing 1 generator, and that's okay. There seems to be, to me, there's a lot more DC equipment coming online.
Absolutely.
AC is certainly not less important. Obviously, air conditioning.
Sure.
The number one thing. Seakeepers, Omni sonars require AC. And everything, as you know better than anybody, everything has to be balanced. You can't just, it's like that old picture where you just keep plugging more extension cords into your outlet, something's going to blow.
Yes, it is.
That's bad on a boat.
Right. Right.
Bad things happen.
They do, and on the water.
On the water,
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then you don't also want the experience. Let's assume a bad thing's not going to happen, but what you don't want is at the end of the day fishing, plugging in your cord and your chillers aren't working.
Right.
And the shore power isn't working, or whatever your issue is. Yeah, you want to make sure that it's solid.
A bad experience on your boat with your family could ruin your family from boating, and that's the worst thing that can happen. And
that's not a.
You're going to take up another hobby. You're going to go take up raising horses or something.
Yeah. Well, we don't want that.
No, that's more expensive than boating, I think.
Right. Well. What we do want to do is keep them into boating. So,
yes.
So you guys are here at the Fort Lauderdale show. You've been coming to the show, I'm sure, for many years.
Many years.
What do you come to this show for? To see new equipment? To see partners that you work with?
A lot of it is to see people. I'm
happy I got a chance to talk to you and meet you and talk to you.
I just wrote the back page of Marlin Magazine this month, and I talk about how the boat shows, how the world of sport fishing is changing, and that you walk down the docks today, you see a lot less outriggers than you used to, but it's all it's still all the same people, but like maybe names and faces have changed, but it's still like what I mean by the same people. Like I came up with a lot of the old timers like Peter B. Wright, Ron Hamlin, those kind of guys. That generation is past, is gone, and now I'm the older generation. And there's young guys coming up, and we were talking about it the other day. One thing that I think is, I don't know if it's different. I think today's world is more of a instant gratification kind of thing, where everybody wants, and I have 3 kids in their 20s, so I can say this.
I have 2.
But it's to be in the boating business, you gotta have a passion for it. It's not like.
And you have to come up through it.
Yeah.
And spend the time and be a part of it. I agree.
And it's not like I'm just going to go out today and I'm going to turn my Omni on and I'm going to go catch a grander. It's not how it works.
Right. No.
And if it happens to be like that the first time you went out, you're kind of ruined. Because there are guys, it does happen the first time you go out.
Yeah. So they go out, they put lines in, they catch all the fish they want, they come back, it was easy, what's this? It's great.
Yeah.
They're going to enjoy the boat and the experience, but if they haven't met all of those days where you went out and you didn't catch, or you went out and you did have an equipment failure, or it was an old boat that you can't wait until one day you can afford a new boat. That was always my dad when I was younger. One day I'm going to get a brand new boat. We're not going to have to deal with any of this. And he did.
Yeah.
But growing up as a kid, that's all I ever heard because there was always something that went wrong.
People are great about blocking out the bad memories. And fortunately for boat builders, because if I had to think about it, I probably have a lot more bad memories of boating.
Aww.
My dad making me go down and clean the teak or clean the head. That's always the most fun.
Oh, for sure.
But you forget those things and you remember the days that you caught 25 fish instead. You don't remember the days you got skunked, and you just can't wait to go out and do it again and catch 26.
That's what the love, exactly.
Yeah.
The love of boating is.
Yeah.
And I think that's why everybody's here in the pouring rain. It's not raining now. Supposedly it's going to be nice. But I do think that's the love of a boat show. I mean, I think about even people coming here just to be around here. You have to fight an awful lot of traffic, an awful lot of people. But it is about being together and people seeing the equipment.
You said it before, the camaraderie.
It is the camaraderie.
It's great.
I am one of those people that absolutely love the boat show for that reason. Especially here, I get to sit and talk with friends, but also that you just get to see people that you don't always get to see, and you really get to enjoy and have those conversations like you have with your business partners. We're always so busy or on the phone.
Well, I think in the fishing, in the boating world in general, I think you can not see somebody for a year and you can pick up that conversation like you just talked to them yesterday.
Well, that means you're more friends too than just business. I like that.
And this is a very I don't know, everybody. It's a very equalizing atmosphere.
Yes, you're right.
You can sit down, you stand at one of the bars up there, and you're having a drink next to somebody who's, maybe deciding where he's going to put his jet this year and where he's going to put one of his yachts. And
but meanwhile, you're both enjoying the same event.
Exactly.
And likely you both maybe bought the same shoes, or maybe you went and looked at a watch together.
Yeah.
So that's
the great part about the sport. You can sit down there and argue if 12-pound test is better than 16-pound test, or Andy Pink is still the best line you should be using. That's what my grandfather used, and that came out because I was on one of my owner's boats yesterday, and I saw spools of Andy Pink, and I was like, he's a young guy, and I'm like,
man,
Luke, I'm so glad you're still using this stuff.
Good. So are we going to see one of your new models at the show next year?
Next year, we will definitely be seeing one.
Okay.
We have one out on the brokerage dock, one of our game fishermen. We
Oh, yeah, tell me about Game Fisherman. So you own that as well.
5 years ago, we bought Game Fisherman. Mike Matlack, the founder, had sold the company to my naval architect, Erwin Gerards. And Erwin called me up and said, "Hey, can you make this part for me?" And I said, "Sure, just tell me where I need to cut it and modify it so it fits your boat." He said, "Oh, you don't have to cut it." I'm like, okay, well, that led to some talks, and we just, they retired, they wanted to get out, he wanted to get out, and it's funny because Mike used to call us, we were Miami game fishermen.
Oh, that's
so there was always and Mike was one of those old timers, friends with Peter B. Wright and Ron Howman and those kind of guys, and so it's nice. I think he's retired up in North Carolina right now.
But you sort of kept it in the family.
We kept it in the family. It's a similar ethos. I think Release is more the higher end flasher stuff, and Game Fisherman. I've owned two game fishermen as charter boats, and they're some of the most famous charter boats in the world. Everything from the Tiaretta down in Costa Rica when it was run by Bubba Carter to Buana and Kona run by Teddy Hoogs. Just any place in the world where the people are catching billfish, you'll find a game fisherman.
That's awesome.
And that's really, it's cool.
That is
amazing. So proud of that.
Yeah, and you should be.
And we're trying to, so we're building a boat now for Guy Blake that's going to be running it as a charter boat, Game Fisherman as a charter boat out of Venice, Louisiana. So we'll finally get one of our boats in on that great tuna fishing in the Gulf. and can't wait.
And so you're saying game, so that's here.
So we have a
Fisherman?
490 Game Fisherman here, which
Okay.
is our walk-around outboard boat. There's one here at HMY, I believe, has it listed for sale. It's a
Good.
beautiful, beautiful boat. It's only 2 years old.
Wow.
So it's a great opportunity for somebody who wants to get basically a new boat without waiting in line.
Well, there you go. You heard it here. Now, and next year you'll have the new release models.
Next year we're planning on having a 55 here and a couple of 46s.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, so
That's
we have
exciting.
one 55 is going to be living in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
Be out of here. 255s, maybe another one's going to be between Jupiter and New Jersey, back and forth. So,
well, exciting things.
I feel like New Jersey, or I'm sorry, Florida, I think 3/4 of all the sport fishing boats in the United States are registered in Florida. So this is where they all, I'm a Florida resident. We all say all the crazy people end up in Florida anyway, so they might as well bring their boats with them.
Yes. That's a wonderful. We'll put that on Visit Florida. The crazy people end up anyway. Bring your boats. You heard it here. Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show. Thank you, Jim, for being here. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
And good luck to Release in the years to come. Thank you.